Kikao, and just before we took the break and went to find out what's happening across our world, we were talking about the Finance Bill 2025. And just before we went on break, one of our very own here, Hanif, one of our guests, was about to drop his views on us. But before he does that, let's sample some of the feedback we've received from you, our people watching us from home. We've got a chap here by the name of Lucas. He says, and I quote, you should bring the conversation to the grassroots also. Even if those at higher institutions of learning struggle with the concepts of taxation, you can only imagine the chaos at grassroots level. That's Lucas. Borura Frederick from Donholm, you're saying nothing positive about the finance bill. Njuguna from Loitoktok, you say, and I quote, kupanua tax base, how come M-Pesa kila transaction, nalipia Safaricom, imelipa license kwa serikali, ili wafanye biashara? Why not tax them na sisi tunalipia kila transaction? He's also saying, how come then watufuate tena tulipe kwa bank, kila flow ya pesa na katwa, bank wao pia wanalipa serikali, why then nifuatwe kwa account yangu? VAT tax pia nalipia kila commodity, why hii yote? Fafanueni tuelewe. This is Francis Njuguna, wants to know, why is he paying for his transactions? Why is he paying for these transactions? And that, one more a bit of feedback. Somebody is saying he's watching, George, wait, what's your name, sir? Benson Tuva, watching from Gongoni Msambweni in Kilifi County. He's following the conversation on finance bill. Jeff is also following the conversation. Jawanga, you're saying, aka Rocky from Kaloleni, you say, following Kikao, talking of finance bill 2025, as Kenyan, we still don't have trust with our current leaders. Proper utilization of public funds is what they lack. High taxation and empty words without action. Can they give a report on from 2023 to 2024? This is a question that Rocky from Kaloleni is asking, and he says, they show us how lavishly they live, yet Kenyans are suffering. Of course, these are just some of the views that are coming in, and we'll be able to sample them. Please keep it right here. We are happy to connect with them. But now, let's connect with my co-presenters, Elizabeth Mutuku and Hibak Said. Liz, just before we went on break, Hanif was about to unload, or rather offload, his views on us. Hanif,
yes, the greatest question is on public participation, and young people have been accused of not taking part in the public participation process. Hanif?
First of all, my name is Hanif Bashir once again, and I'm a law student at Mount Kenya University. On the issue of public participation has obviously developed. I was given an example of avenue and venues. First of all, last year we expressed our opinion, especially on the X app, which the government confidently ignored it until the drastic what happened in 26th June. Also, my natural perspective of public participation, I had this example in mind. I was given an example of a member of parliament in Roysambu constituency, whereby you are at the floors of the house voting for a yes to this finance bill, while the roundabout at Thika Road Mall, which is Roysambu, we have some protesters, not only a small group of protesters, but a very huge group of protesters. The Senator Sifuna even clearly said that, how do you vote for a finance bill while clearly where you are seated, you are able to hear gunshots from outside the house? Then you come and tell me that public participation was done. But in real sense, how was public participation done when your own people outside the house are saying no while you are clearly saying yes? And that's the time we question the integrity and the sincereness of such members of parliament. Again, as I said, public participation is just, it evolves. If you want to find the young people, you cannot mix a 60-year-old man and Hanif Bashir at one avenue and try to find their views. I can't go all the way to my home village in Mandera County. I go sit along with a 70-year-old man. Let's meet at avenues whereby you can hear the views of young people, you can hear the views of such, let's categorize people. Last year's demos was mostly centered around the young people, whereby the young people felt left out. Some of the reasons why they felt left out is because of some of systematic problems, such as public participation avenues, public participation procedures. These were some of the reasons why the young people decided, you know what, let me get out and show the government that my views must be heard as a Kenyan citizen, and I'm a Kenyan citizen.
And
So
I have a question for you, if you may. A public participation exercise, like for example, the one that's coming up in 2 weeks' time, on 27th, on this very matter of the finance bill, is something that's provided for in the law. This is an avenue that's been provided for all people who have something to say about this, they can go. So are you saying that this avenue that's been provided for does not suit the young people? Are you saying that another avenue needs to be created? And perhaps if I may ask you directly, are you going to give your views in this upcoming public participation exercise?
The public participation, I'm going to give my views as a person who has thoroughly read across the bill. But if the public participation does not capture my views, that is the question. What is the outcome of this public participation? I gave you an example. Gunshots were being heard outside the parliament, while you as a member of parliament is voting yes to the bill. Can you sit and justify to the whole world that yes, public participation had occurred? Public participation occurs in various ways. Number one, you can get the simpler views. Where do you get the simpler views? The young generation is mostly found in the digital spaces. What if a member of parliament takes to the digital space? We have digital spaces whereby you can hold spaces up to millions and millions of people from our constituents and ask them, excuse me, what is your views on this agenda? But if you say that, you know what, let me have an avenue that is limited to certain type of people. As I said, you cannot mix people of different interests. Last year demos, it was mainly centered on young people, not labeled as the Gen Zs. Why were there not majority old people? Because these young people felt that, you know what, I have been left out. My views was never heard. So why don't we modify and develop this concept of public participation to be inclusive in nature?
All right, fair enough. That's a really good point. Thank you for that. Let's hear some more views on the same. Sir, what's your name? What do you do? Where are you from? And what is your view?
Okay, thank you. My name is Joseph Moniki. I'm the former governor of the University of Nairobi, Faculty of Science and Technology. I'm a youth leader at Kadhiani constituency, and I have a few questions. I have two questions. One, I'll give an example so that you can find the logic behind it.
Okay.
It's about the zero rated and the VAT exempt. So let's say I'm a manufacturer of animal feeds. Then I get my supplies, I pay the 16% VAT on the supplies. It was supplying to zero rated, right? Are you getting my point? Then now, when I'm selling my product, it goes to VAT exempt. So it means that I'm not going to gain the 16%, which initially people used to get back, right? So it means if the price of milk was 80 shillings, me as a business person, to recover my money back, I'll raise it to maybe 120. If the price of an egg was 10 bob, I'll raise it to 30 bob, so that I can make my profit of the 16%, right? So it means it's like I'm giving government 16% when we put let me give, they said that raw materials in production of medicine, electricity, electric bikes, transportation of sugar from farm to factory, and animal feeds. All of these, they will lie under VAT exempt. So it means all these ones, they'll be paying the 16% to government.
So what is your question, sir?
So my question is, are we reducing the tax from manufacturers, or we are adding the tax?
Right. Okay. All right.
One final question.
Yes, please. And to that, Kamra, please.
Okay. This one is about academics, because I'm a student at the University of Nairobi. So starting this financial year 2025-2026, the president said that there will be zero-based budgeting. So this means you have to justify each and every program and budget allocation given starting from zero. Right now at the University of Nairobi, we have a debt of 20 million shillings. 20 billion shillings right now. So how is this one going to work?
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
question. Good question. Let's take some more. Yes, sir, at the corner.
Okay,
Name,
thank
where
you.
you're from, and what you do, and then your question or your point.
Okay, thank you. My name is Elton Butichi,
Yes.
former student leader from the University of Nairobi and also a youth leader from Kakamega County. To start with, there is nothing for the youth without the youth. So I think maybe what I can touch on, Article 210 of the Constitution calls for transparency and accountability from all the arms of the government, which is the judiciary, the National Assembly, and the executive. But when you look at this finance bill, maybe if I may start with the finance bill of 2022-2023, just to highlight, for example, the affordable housing. Like you see, in each and every country, there is a priority. Like me, when you go to my county, which is Kakamega County, maybe at night, and try and maybe just look around and see how many people are living on the streets. It's almost zero. So meaning housing is not an issue in my county. But you will see that the executive is really forcing that issue that we want affordable housing. Then I think we need to make it this way. If yes, this affordable housing is an issue, I think this is maybe what needs to be done. Because at the moment, we don't know who is supplying cement. We don't know who is supplying all the, maybe the iron sheets and everything. So if the president really meant well with this, the affordable housing, maybe each and every county or constituency should have CBOs, so that one CBO, you are going to distribute maybe cement. The other CBO is going to distribute iron sheet. The other CBO is going maybe to be in charge of the workers. But this is a one-man show. Maybe you will hear that since I supported the president and maybe I'm an MP, I'll be given that tender. So to me, to start with, I don't think the affordable housing is really meant to help a common mwananchi. Then another thing, this affordable housing, if you look at maybe how the money is being spent, the affordable housing, that money is being donated by taxes from each and every citizen who is working. Why is it that, again, those houses are being sold? Then you hear that there are affordable housing. Then you hear a single room is 640,000. Where can Mama Mboga remove 640,000? And remember, right now, there is VAT in agricultural these products. So meaning, maziwa, nyanya, kitunguu. Kama nyanya ilikuwa tatumbao, sasa comrades, mwanze kujitayarisha mapema. Inaenda kuongeza. Then, the government is telling us that we have the interest of the citizens. Another thing, touching the finance bill. Comrades, I think you saw last month, the MPs, walisema mshahara ni kidogo, maisha ni ngumu. And what was the proposal? That each and every MP is going to get a salary increment of 360,000. So mimi nashangaa, hii maisha ikiwa ngumu, inakuwa tu ngumu kwa wanasiasa ama inakuwa ngumu kwa kila mtu.
All right, good point. Let's go just a little bit. The gentleman just behind you. Let's get some views from him. The gentleman with the leather jacket, and then we'll go around. We'll go around. Don't worry, guys. Yes, please. Name, where you're from, and your point, briefly as you can, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am Kech Solomon Aira, the former Chairman Council of Governors, University of Nairobi, by extension emeritus. And now I am the youth leader of Gwasi South Ward.
All right.
So I'm representing my hometown.
Karibu sana.
Thank you. So I have two concerns.
Please.
One is I want to start by saying that was once said by the late Nelson Mandela, who said that education is the only equalizer. So in Kenya right now, it is only education that is being taken for granted. And I want to say I'm a victim of the same. Why? Because we understand there was a task force that was formed to review the new funding model. And I feel even embarrassed to say that I was part of the task force as a member who did represent our nation in unpacking and revising the new funding model, and we came out with the resolutions. I was thinking with my ideas that we did put in as a task force that these resolutions that we made were going to be showcased in the Finance Bill 2025-2026. To my sad notice, that is not even being considered. So for those who are preparing this budget, what is the position of the education sector in this Finance Bill 2025-2026?
All right.
Apart from making the State House look lavish, more lavish, I just want to make a joke. One day I called my grandmother, did call me from home, and she told me that, hey, my grandson, are there any cars in Nairobi? I asked him, why? Because I've seen the president pass. It took like 30 minutes to passing. So he thought all cars have gone to Nyanza.
To Gwasi.
Yes, he thought every car
All right.
have gone to Nyanza. So that tells you the level of opulence being shown when our education sector is dying. Our universities are in a state of limbo.
Okay. All right.
My second...
Member for Gwasi, one more point,
Kindly,
please, quickly. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll keep it going.
My second and the last,
Yes,
maybe
please.
if I'll be given another opportunity, is the matter of public participation. I want to say that the main and the core reason why the MPs, the members of parliament, were elected by their electorates was not kujiongeza mshahara, kupigania CDF. It was all about representation of their constituents. And we have witnessed this is not happening now in our parliament. So sad. I really, really, really want Joaquin Orengo to come back to the parliament. It is not happening anymore. The members of parliament, I know, are not even reading this finance bill, but they will vote yes when that day comes. So I'm just urging them. It is your duty. My grandmother back at home, my dad back at home as a farmer, he cannot read this finance bill and interpret it. It is your duty and mandate as a member of parliament when at the floor of the house, however the pocket is full, can you look into it, read the finance bill, and give the best resolutions for the members of your constituency.
All right. Thank you, Member for Gwasi. Gentlemen, please, quick as you can. Yes. There's a lot of people who need to speak. Speak to that camera.
My name is Ngetichi Michael Soy, the youth representative from Bomet East constituency in Bomet County. When we talk about Finance Bill 2025, it's stemming from Finance Bill 2024. Let's have a background. What led to the demonstration last year? 16% VAT on bread, 25% excise duty on cooking oil, 2.5% annual motor vehicle tax, eco-levy on products, for example, sanitary pads and diapers, increased taxes on financial mobile transactions, expanded the powers of the tax authorities' provision of KRA to access individual financial data. When we're talking about Finance Bill 2025, it's good to talk about these things aren't re-emerging in the said document again, and to some extent, I'd like to credit those who drafted the same. However, the policy changes, and especially the tax changes that have been made to businesses, these frequent policy changes affect the predictability and consistency of how the investors are doing business. What is the investor confidence of our people? The other thing I'd like to mention is one thing that really stood up for me is the tax appeal tribunal, whereby once you have a dispute with a taxman, once the tax appeal tribunal has decided that you've lost, when you're going to appeal in the High Court, the agency of the appeal, it has given the powers to the taxman that you will be able to pay, or the taxman will deal with you. And if you win against the High Court, the government will have to refund you. When you talk about the refunds from the government, they often take an eternity before that time comes. The other bit of the conversation that we should be having is now, why do we budget for something that we do not have? Can we start from what is there that we have, and then we budget on those lenses? Then why is it that this budget continues to skyrocket every financial year? Can we work on one, because we threw Finance Bill 2023 and worked with 2024 and worked with the one in 2023? Can we still work with that? If not, what are the measures that we can do? But it's also good to urge ourselves, and as a country, it's important for us to raise the revenue, and we must fend for ourselves as a country. So we cannot run away from that. Apart from opposing and just trying to throw it down, what else can we do? We must pay the taxes. Thank you.
All right, fair enough. Now, there have been quite a few people who've spoken. There's a few more who are going to speak. Let's give everyone a breather, just a few seconds to note down. There were a few questions. Now, I imagine those questions are aimed at our panelists and the rest of the room. So let's give everyone a moment to just collect their thoughts. We'll be right back. When we're coming back, we'll get a few answers and a few more questions from everyone else. All right? Thank you. And I urge, and this is not a slight to anyone who's spoken, let's try to keep it nice and tight so that the mic can go around the room. All right? Excellent. Thank you. We'll be right back.